Hey guys, welcome back for another one of our mini messages, and today we're now over into Genesis chapter 13. So what's happened now is Abraham has left Egypt. He's traveled north into the Negev, is this area. It's southern Israel is where he's at right now. He's got his wife and he's got Lot, and he has all they own. And remember, he is a wealthy man at this point. And the verse 2 says that he was very rich in livestock, silver, and gold. And they continue in verse 3, traveling by stages towards Bethel. They pitched their tents between Bethel and Ai. Once again, he's a sojourner, right? He's just passing through this land. He doesn't really own it yet. God says he owns it, which means he does, but he doesn't actually have possession of it. His descendants don't have possession of it. This is the same place where Abram had built an altar, and he worships the Lord there again, it tells us in verse 4. Now, here's an interesting point in this. Remember, he had just failed, okay? He had failed greatly at the end of chapter 12. He had lied about who Sarah was. He was disgraced. The Pharaoh of Egypt had run him out of the country. It was a big failure and a big mess for him. But what does he do? He gets back to doing what he's supposed to be doing. It says there in verse 4, this is the same place where Abram had built the altar, and there he worshiped the Lord again. He failed, but then what did he do? He got back to doing what God wanted him to do. He didn't let this one failure cause him to derail forever. Instead, he continued on in his relationship with God. Here's how it's going to work. You're going to fail, okay? You're going to sin. You're going to fall short. There's going to be issues. Bad stuff's going to happen. And a lot of times the bad stuff happens because of the choices that you make. But just because you fail in that moment doesn't mean you have to stay there, okay? You pick yourself up. You repent. You turn back to God. You trust Him. And you start once again doing what you're supposed to do instead of torturing yourself about the sin that happened in the past. I can't control what happened in the past. I can't do anything about what happened yesterday. This is something I tell people really regularly, especially when I'm sitting and talking with them one-on-one, doing some counseling. I reinforce this constantly. You cannot control what happened in the past. You can ask forgiveness. You can try to restore relationships. You can try to make some things right. But you can't ever go back and take those actions back. You can't take those words back. Once they're out, once they're done, they're done. But I do control what happens tomorrow. You see, I can turn back to God. I can put my trust in Him again. I can faithfully continue to follow Him. That's what Abram's doing here. He found himself in a hole he dug with his lies, and now he's gone back to doing what God has told him to do. Let that be something that you live your life by. I can't control what happened yesterday, but I can control how I react and respond in what I do today. Let that be a thing in your life that governs your actions. Have a blessed day. We'll see you soon.